So, after movies like Castaway and Captain Phillips and Sully, maybe it's not a good idea to travel with Tom Hanks. Mainly because the plane's about to crash and something really bad's going to happen. Kind of like in this movie too. So, Greyhound is directed by Aaron Schneider, and it stars Tom Hanks, co-written by him, actually. No, actually not co-written, actually just written by him. And it's about an admiral played by him as well, and basically he has to fight basically he has to lead his shipmates into a war, and that's really all I'm going to say, because that's really what the movie's about. Now, I remember hearing about this movie for a while now. I remember it was supposed to come out sometime last year, but they kept pushing it back for whatever reason. They were saying that they were going to release it this year. And then with the shutdowns, they decided to move it over to Apple TV. So it made me sign up for Apple TV, which, yay. And the trailers, they looked okay. It's like, oh, this actually doesn't look that bad. How could you go wrong with a movie starring Tom Hanks in the lead role? Well, this movie, I kind of didn't care for it, honestly. Because, okay, so Tom Hanks, he's admittedly good in this movie. He's admirable. He's not great, but he's passable enough. He plays an admiral. He's admirable in the movie. And the action sequences are fine in the movie. They're not, like, groundbreaking, but they're okay. It does try to build intensity throughout the entire movie, and it is relatively short, at least, at 90 minutes, which is shorter than I kind of expected this movie to be. Kind of shorter than a lot of World War II movies out there. So, I don't know. I feel like the main issue with this movie was kind of what I had an issue with in Dunkirk. But it's like, it's actually worse in Greyhound. Because even though Dunkirk, I feel, is a very well-made movie, I just couldn't really get attached to any of these characters to really care too much, unfortunately. And I feel like this movie, Greyhound, it tries to do that a lot more, but the characters are surprisingly even flatter. Like, there's a scene where Tom Hanks is talking to his wife, and his wife is very forgettable, honestly. Like, I don't even remember her name. Actually, I don't really remember anyone's name in this movie. I don't even remember any of the actors who were in this movie other than Tom Hanks. It's very forgettable, honestly. It's just not that interesting, unfortunately. It tries to do that thing in Dunkirk where it's like, okay, we're going to mainly focus on this, and we're going to build all the intensity throughout to this big crescendo. And it doesn't do it as well, unfortunately. Because, like, it tries to intercut more dramatic scenes, like, where it's like, oh, this is a character building moment, and it's just not, because, again, the characters are really flat. And it made me go, maybe I judged Dunkirk a little too hard, honestly. I'll definitely have to rewatch that. I was planning on rewatching it because of Tenet, but still. So, this is kind of a quick review, unfortunately, but Greyhound, it's honestly a forgettable movie. Tom Hanks is fine. The scenes in the Atlantic, they're fine. It's definitely very short. It's watchable, but it's forgettable. That may be weird, but yeah, I watched this a few days ago, and I barely remember anything that happened in this movie. Like, most of the characters are forgettable. Their names are forgettable. It's kind of odd at times. It's kind of like, it wants to be very dramatic, but it also wants to be very intense. And I'm like, again, I kind of judged Dunkirk a little too hard after watching this movie. It's like, I feel like they saw that movie, and then they kept pushing this movie back. Because it's like, yeah, Dunkirk did that. We'll just release this movie, I guess, sometime. Whenever. I'll give Greyhound 2 out of 4 stars. Stream it. Probably not worth the Apple TV subscription, honestly. So, what's your favorite World War II movie, or what's your favorite movie starring Tom Hanks? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and stay safe.